think more often in life, a lot of times people are more scared of trying things and starting them than they actually are of the thing that they want to end up trying. In life, how many times have you said, or maybe have you heard, I gotta wait for the right time to start this, or I gotta wait for, the next week to go to the gym, or I gotta wait till my next paycheck to start saving money, or whatever it may be, right? A lot of times people tend to put things off because they may be afraid of it. And a lot of times this might not even extend to, just plain procrastination. Say, you know, a lot of times people get so caught up in how they should start and having the right circumstances before they actually do start whatever it is they want to do start. And the thing is with that, there's never going to be these perfect circumstances. There's never going to be this perfect moment for you to go out and do what you want to do. Clothes on my bed. Whoops. There's never going to be this perfect moment or this right time for you to do something, right? Now, sometimes, there may be some restrictions, whether it's health related, financial related, just whatever the situation you might be. Sometimes there are some restrictions to it, and that doesn't necessarily always apply. I think a lot of times people get caught up more so in, how they should start something, the circumstances being right, whatever it may be, before they actually start it. And more often than not, this prolongs the act of you starting whatever it is that you want to begin, whether it's you going to the gym or you saving money, you trying to be on a diet, whatever it may be. That's something I've been trying to teach myself a lot of recently, is that there's never a right time to do something. You are who you are in the present, and that's more than enough. For example, today, I picked up a boxing class again, right? I used to train boxing for a while, and then I trained MMA for quite some time, and then I got injured here and there, and that kind of kept me away from it, unfortunately. And it's been something that I've been wanting to get back into because I have a deep passion for it. I really do love martial arts and combat sports, but I've been constantly kind of putting it off because in my head I'm just what if I get hurt again, or what if it just doesn't work out. And then today I kind of just reached out to this local boxing coach that I had gotten recommended to me. And, he kind of just told me, come on down. 7 p.m., we got a class going on. We can get you right. And I went in at 7 p.m. I felt good. I felt like I was supposed to be there. Recently, I lost my job, right? And I could be all, upset about it and beat myself up over it. But I've been using this time to kind of better myself and further myself as a person, because I felt like as if sometimes with my job, I got clouded a lot of times, right? I'm trying to focus now on becoming an entrepreneur, focusing on building my value as a man, my profits, my revenue as a man, even something as simple as doing this video. I've been trying to, rationalize making a video in my head for like the last 2-3 weeks. I've been trying to think of a good idea or what I should say or how I should make the video, whatever it be. And literally, I came home from the gym today. I felt good. I went to, I worked the job I've been working, my new job, basically just working for myself. I did that, went to boxing, I went to the gym, I had a good workout, came home, I ate. I had a very productive and just a very fulfilling day where I got to make the most out of it. And something just told me, I was like, you know what? Let's just do it, right? I have right here, I have this mic, I have this webcam, right? And I'm not using any of them, right? I've tried making videos recently with both of those things, and I just remember sitting back and watching them being like, damn, something about this is just throwing me off. Or even on a more serious topic, right? I've smoked weed for a long time, right? I'm about to be 23 soon. I started smoking weed when I was in junior year of high school, right? And recently, I've been trying to get myself to stop that, right? I didn't think it necessarily benefited my life in a constructive way, you know, and it was something that as I looked to better myself as a person, I didn't want to let that kind of take control of my life anymore. So essentially, and it's something I've been dealing with too. I've been kind of telling myself for a while, I'm gonna stop, after I'm done with whatever I have, right? And I just won't buy more, or I'm gonna throw all my stuff out and I'm gonna stop, right? The act of trying to start something versus actually starting it. And I recently quit. I felt great. I feel great, I should say. But in the moment when I decided to stop that, I felt good. There wasn't this perfect moment. There wasn't this, voice telling me, yeah, this is the time you should stop. There wasn't a sign, pointing at me, telling me to stop at this exact time. And I was waiting for things to kind of become more straightened in my life. Like I said, I recently lost my job. I recently, like a little over a month ago now at this point. And when that happened, I felt crushed, right? To me, my job was basically, I don't want to say it was my life because there's a lot more to my life than work for sure, but it was a very big part of my life. And I put a lot of focus into it and just doing that. And I was at my job for a long time. I was at my job for basically going on 6 years. Like I said, I'm 22. I'm going to be 23 in a month. I started working there when I was 18, right after I graduated high school. And between then and now, originally when I started working there, I had told myself, I'm going to just be here for a short time. And then I'm going to use this to progress myself further into my life. And next thing I know, a month turned into a year turned into 3 years, 3 years turned into 6. And I'm just there looking back on the 6 years I spent. I had nothing going for myself, And I kept telling myself during that time, I'm gonna start soon, or I'm gonna try to change my life eventually, right? But until it was taken from me and it was out of my control, at that point I had no other option but to start. And then I realized something with like the gym per se. I'm a pretty active guy. I've been working out since I was 18, 17, about there. But I was a chubby kid, right? I was a really chubby kid. I was pretty chubby in high school. Um, Going back as a few months ago, I was pretty chubby. Like I said, I smoked weed. I was drinking a lot. I don't drink anymore, thank God. I was eating unhealthily, eating a lot of processed food, whatever it may be. And I knew that deep down I wanted more for myself, but I kept looking, to the next day for the answer, right? Not knowing that the answer was within me the entire time. When I was doing all those things and I was negatively impacting my life, essentially all of those things was within me, right? I kept telling myself, I'm gonna wait for the next day to start. I'm gonna wait for next week to start, right? But that was always within me, regardless of whether or not I started then or I start now, I started earlier. That drive was always within me. So I stopped letting fear kind of take control of my perspective and how I wanted to change my life. Because a lot of that is essentially rooted in fear. A lot of times you could be scared that going back to going to the gym, I hear this all the time. People are scared that they go to the gym that they're gonna get judged, so they prolong going to the gym. Or my case, I started the boxing class again. I didn't want to do that because I've injured myself in the past pretty severely, and I've been constantly scared of re-aggravating that same injury. But I told myself, like I'm never gonna I'm never gonna start if I don't start now, right? I have no way of knowing what I'm gonna do a week from now, what I'm gonna do a month from now, what I'm gonna do 2 years from now. I don't know what I'm gonna do, who I'm gonna be, where I'm gonna be, what I'm gonna do in my life, whatever it may be, the situation I'm gonna be in, my circumstances around me. So I have to start now, right? You are who you are right now. There's no other kind of space or time, in your life other than the space and time that you occupy currently, right? They always say the past is in your head, the future is in your hands, right? You create the life around you based on your thoughts, the way you react to certain things, your actions, and all of that kind of plays into your reality. And if your reality ends up being, I'm afraid to try this because of whatever my fear that I'm rationalizing in my head may be, you're never going to start, And a lot of that comes from just being present, being present in who you are now, being present in your thoughts, your actions, being, fully aware of what you're doing and present in what you're doing as well, right? I feel recently I've been very present in myself as a person, and it's been leading me to just try new things, right? Doing this, you guys, if you guys seen my YouTube channel before, this is completely different than the videos I used to make. I used to make UFC videos. I used to talk about UFC, and even back when I was making those videos, same thing applies then. I used to want to make videos like this. I like combat sports. It's a big part of my lifestyle, what I do, my actions as a person. And, I wanted that to reflect on my YouTube channel. So I made a lot of UFC videos. But deep down, that's not really what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about this. I want to talk about, how to help yourself as a man, how to grow yourself further as a man, how to build confidence in yourself as a man, how to get these things going for yourself, not just as a person, right? Lord willing, that's what I want to do. That's what I wanted to do, right? Because at the end of the day, those types of videos are what helped me kind of become the person I am now, right? And I never would have been doing what I'm doing now if I never started, right? It's the art of doing, right? The art of being present, doing, what's required of you to become a better person, right? Whether that's you studying in school, you working at your job, doing what you gotta do to better yourself as an entrepreneur, your business, your school, at the gym, physically, spiritually, whatever it is you need to do to better yourself as a person. There's never gonna be a better time than now, right? I could have put this video off till tomorrow. I wanted to. Before I was doing this, I was doom scrolling. I was on Twitter. I was on YouTube. I was dicking around, right? Just wasting my time, doing nothing productive with my life. I saw a video today. I'll probably put it up on my screen. But essentially, what he spoke about in the video is that after a long day, you gotta decompress, but you have to do something productive with yourself before you decompress, and that's gonna further yourself into the future, right? And then I thought about that, and it sat with me, and I told myself, when I come back, I'm gonna try to make a YouTube video. Now, like I said, I've been trying to make this for the last 2 weeks. I had a completely different video idea. I recorded on my laptop with this camera, right? This $80, $100 camera that I bought years ago. I'm not happy with it. I'm recording this video on my phone. I got my AirPods in as a mic. You don't need, there's never gonna be the best circumstances for you to do what you gotta do, right? I have an injury and I'm doing the boxing. I've been going to the gym. I lost my job and I've been meal prepping. I've been taking care of myself. I've been getting it how I gotta get it. With this, I haven't made a video. I haven't posted a video in 6 months, 5 months about some UFC bullshit that I really didn't even care about. 10-minute video. I'm talking for 10 minutes nothing I was talking about mattered to me deep down, you know? So you have to look at it from that perspective. Like I said, the past is in your head, the future is in your hands. You hold your future 100% of the time, but your future isn't going to happen unless you take the steps to make it happen now. There's never going to be the right order of events for you to start something. You have to just do it. You know, you have no way to control a lot of times things that happen to you. You could just control how you react to them, right? This is how, in a way, you react to it, by just being present and just doing what you got to do, doing what you want to do in your head, and just making it happen. Like I said, you know, sometimes there may be some restrictions, you know, whether it's financial, whether it's, you know, mental, whatever it may be. You know, I'm very blessed to have this phone, this $1,000 iPhone that I can make a video with, these $100 AirPods I can record, you know, on a microphone with, my apartment. I got all these vinyls on my wall, a $1,000 computer on my desk, you know, all this equipment I'm recording with, you know. And if I didn't have any of this, you know, I'm stripped down right now. I'm on my phone, I'm on my AirPods, right? When I was in middle school, high school, I was making YouTube videos, right? I didn't have a fancy setup. You know, I was broke. I was a high schooler, middle schooler. I didn't have money. I didn't have a job. I didn't have nothing. You know, I still went and I kind of figured it out. It didn't work out for me, of course, you know, because you can only get so far with what you have, but you'll never get far if you don't start, right? You play baseball, you could swing, you might never hit a ball in your life, but you'll never know unless you swing the bat. You know, you play basketball, you can miss a million shots. You won't know till you take a million shots. You have to do to be. You have to be to become yourself, truly. You know, and if you want to start something, you just got to start it. You can't be afraid to take that first step. Because at the end of the day, if you never take that first step, nothing is ever going to happen to you, right? These last few months, you know, I kept telling you I lost my job. When I was with my job, I was depressed. I wasn't happy at my job, wasting my time away. You know, it felt like, you know, I'll probably get into that different video if the time does come for it, whatever it may be. But I became very preoccupied and in my own head, and it kind of, I would just let that permeate into my life, in the sense of I'd have a long day at work and it might have sucked. You know, I might not have had the best day at work. And, you know, I'd be like, you know, I'm just not gonna go to the gym today. I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow, right? I was making UFC videos. I'd have one bad day, come home from work in a shitty mood, right? And then I would tell myself, you know what, I'm gonna just put this off till tomorrow. And then tomorrow came. Tomorrow came and I still didn't do it. The next day came. The week after that came. A month after that came. And now I'm here, you know, years of my life gone.
I was hungry by myself and tomorrow came.
Because I was too afraid to make that first step. You know, I was too afraid to go out searching, to seek better for myself. Because I was waiting for the right circumstances to arrive to basically create them for myself. No one's going to create these good times for you but yourself.
To wait for better times to come where the world will be completely in peace and you can walk peacefully over the street, never having the fear that somebody's going to come and do something to you. It's not going to happen. The world is just the way as it is. If we don't create the better times, nothing's going to happen.
Unless you're born into $1 million and you're a rich person with a rich family that you were born into, no one's going to create these circumstances for you but yourself. It's not your mom, not your dad. They could give you stuff, push you in the right direction, but after a certain age, that shit falls on you. I could never, I have great parents. My parents, you know, put me in great positions in my life. And if I would have just done nothing with myself and just wasted time, keep wasting time, that's all I would ever have, is wasted time. And that's what a lot of people have when they don't want to start, is wasted time. You can't waste time. We have so much time available. You know, time is precious. I wish I could go back. Years of my life gone. I wish I could do more with those time. But the thing is, I'm here now. You know, I'm here now. I'm doing it now. And if you got this far in the video, I implore you, start today. Start now. You know, if you wanna make music, make music. If you wanna go to the gym, go to the gym. You wanna take a martial arts class, take a martial arts class. You might not be the strongest guy in the room. So what? Everyone that started that was in your position at one point. You gotta start, man. Nothing is ever gonna happen. You won't know the results of your actions if you don't take the actions in the first place. You know? And that's the most important part. It's your part, you know. You gotta do your part of the transaction. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the video. It's a bit of a longer one. I kind of just wanted to ramble about this because, like I said, this has been something this is the kind of videos I have been wanting to make for quite some time. And I never got around to doing it. Something kept telling me, you know, I kept putting it off for whatever reason. But here I am now. I made this video, right? And if you got this far, thank you for watching. You know, I hope you take away something from this and you go out and you just do something productive with yourself. You make the most out of your life. Life is worthwhile, so you need to make a life worth living. You know what I mean? And that's really all it is. You know, if you like the video, like the video. If you like the way I talk, you know, subscribe to the channel. I'll be dropping more videos like this. I want to talk about, you know, how to help yourself as a man, how to grow yourself. You know, if you don't have confidence, you know, I was a person that lacked confidence a lot. You know, I didn't have confidence when I was younger. I was ashamed in how I looked. I was ashamed in how I talked. I was ashamed of my body. I was ashamed of everything. I was ashamed of myself. And I'm here today. You know, it takes a lot to get in front of a camera. People can't do that. A lot of people can't, but you got to start today, right? That's the biggest thing. Start now. Start today. Do what you gotta do. There's no better time than now. There's no better day than today. That's what I've been taught my entire life. There's no better time than today, right? So make the most out of your day, right? Be productive, fulfill your life. You have a life that's worth fulfilling, okay? If y'all like the video one more time, like it, subscribe, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Oh, did you wake up feeling good? Do the light and the wind and the smell and the sounds all seem like they're brand new and fresh this morning? Is each and every cell in your whole body awake and alive now? Today, you are who you are today. See? You're still me, but you're a newer version.